When I mentioned that the first FNAF movie has a novel, a lot of people are confused and they actually don't know that the first one exists. But yes, there is a FNAF movie novel for the first one. But recently with the second FNAF movie, they also released a second FNAF movie novel. And I'm going to be doing a review of that. And so there will be some spoilers ahead talking about the movie and the novel itself. So let's get the video started. So what makes this novel different from the first one? Well, it includes 8 pages of photos, which are all found in the middle of the book. And that's basically it. Compared to the first one, it's basically a similar idea, where it's just the first or second movie, just with some things changed in it. So how's the book itself? It's really bad. I mean, you take the bad writing of the second movie and you make some of the characters worse. So let me talk, before we even start, let's talk about the differences in this book. So this book has a few differences. So in the beginning of the book, in the movie, Matthew Lillard, or William Afton, does this little announcement from the pizzeria. In the book, he does that, but Charlotte Emily, which is the little kid in the beginning of the movie, covers her ears. But in the actual movie itself, it's just title cards that play, the Universal title card and the Blumhouse title card while he's speaking. In addition, after Charlotte Emily dies, we actually get a scene where Lisa looks through the newspapers of the tragedies of the original location. Well, in the movie, I believe, is that same scene that from the intro credits. So in the intro credits, it shows the newspaper clippings of the tragedy of the original location that happened at the original location. And so it has something similar in this book, but Lisa's going through the newspapers instead of having the credits. In the novel, after Charlotte listens to William's announcement, the animatronics actually perform Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Freddy. And in the movie, we don't actually see any performances, which is a problem I had with the movie. I wish we'd seen more toys in action, but yeah, the novel actually covers that as well. So I want to talk about some of the character differences in this book, because there is a lot of differences when it comes to the character development in this book. A lot of them stays the same, but I want to talk about Jeremiah and Michael Afton. So I pulled up page 40 of the book, and they're talking about Abby as she leaves, and this is what Jeremiah says. Jeremiah nodded. She's going to be a looker too when she gets older. Mind you, Abby is still a kid in this book, so not only did they make him a creep and a pedophile as well. And so let's talk about Mike Afton a little bit. He stays relatively the same besides him going crazy like the Joker, but there's something different. So when Alex dies, which is the guy who got killed by the mango, he actually just starts laughing, like I mentioned earlier, like the Joker. I don't know how I feel about that, how he's a crazy maniac like William, but that's a difference I've noticed as well. Another difference I noticed is that when Lisa, being possessed by the puppet, holds Vanessa, she holds her upside down. One change I noticed with the FNAF 2 novel compared to the movie was that in the movie, the 3 guys that discover Springtrap, they actually leave, and then his eyes turn blue, his one eye turned blue. In the novel, it's actually one of the guys actually see his eye turn blue. So that's a difference I noticed as well. Like I mentioned, this book advertises includes 8 pages of photos. So we were expecting, new, unique behind-the-scenes photos, and they're just screenshots from the movie. I think they just did the bare minimum and just included photos that you could just find online. I wish it was like exclusive behind the scenes, but I mean, they took the lazy way out. I didn't expect much from this book, but I'm surprised they even made a second movie novel. I mean, when I talk about the first one, people don't even know the first one even came out. So how do I feel about this book? This book is possibly the worst FNAF book I've ever read. It was such a drag to read. It was like, because I didn't like the second FNAF movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like the second one. So I didn't like the writing. That's why I think it's the worst FNAF movie, because the FNAF 2 movie writing is horrible. And so you carry that onto this book. You make the characters worse. You make Jeremiah worse. You make Mike Afton worse. You make them creeps. And so you just ruin the book. This book could have fixed the problems that the movie had, but instead they chose the lazy way out and they just copy and pasted the movie and into here and made the characters worse. Now, I'm not dissing on the author as well. They probably don't even have a say in this. It's Scholastic, so they just probably made this for money. But I really wish, I don't know what happened. I used to believe that Scott Cawthon had, his like hands in everything when it comes to quality control and insurance. Yeah, it does not feel like that here, because it feels like Scott, just like, hey, just whatever, do whatever. We have a FNAF 2 movie, you have the rights to it, do whatever you want. And it kind of reminds me of with the FNAF 1 novel where they made Doug a creep, and Scott had to say, hey, that's not canon. I really hope they do that here with Jeremiah and especially Mike Afton. Just making them creeps. It's horrible. I just hate reading that. So I hope Scott comes out and says, yeah, the Jeremiah and Mike Afton in these books are not canon. This is horrible. I just hated reading this. Luckily it doesn't have as many grammar problems as the first book did, but there's still problems with it. And it doesn't feel as rushed as the first one, but it's still really bad. I didn't think the first one was the worst book ever. I thought it was just a bad, lazy attempt for a cash grab. This is just worse. I had to stop at some points just to, I couldn't bring myself to, finish reading. I can't finish this movie in one sitting. I just get really bored because, the second movie is not good. I think it's worse than the first one. Story-wise, because at least the first one had a story. I don't even know what's happening in this book, but or in this movie. So, would I recommend this book to anyone? No. Unless you're a big fan of the second novel, then go ahead. But this is a pass. This is just lazy. Even with the photos, come on. They couldn't choose behind the scenes. They chose screenshots that you could find online of the movie. I just find it so lazy, man. I feel like now FNAF has become a cash cow for these companies, and I wish Scott would stop that. I wish Scott would say, no, I need some quality products, but no, we keep getting, the bad movie, and then with Secret of the Mimic VR as well, I still got to do a video on that, but I've heard the controversy about that, how it's basically just a lazy port. Steelwool's outsourced the VR, development, even though they are a VR team, which makes no sense, and the build was almost last minute as well. So I'm very disappointed in this book. I didn't expect much. When I heard they were gonna make a second novel, I was like, why not? A good amount of people actually saw this book and saw some of the pages early, and there was a lot of controversy before this book even released, especially with the Jeremiah being like a pedophile in a way. So I don't know, man. I didn't expect much. My standards were kind of low on the floor, but this is just bad. This is like a new bad. This might be compared to the encyclopedia, which is horrible and it gets so many things wrong. This is the worst FNAF book. This book brings nothing to the table. It does not introduce anything new, and the things it does introduce just are meaningless. So if you want to get this book, go ahead. This book is $15 here in the United States, which is just wild to think about. Because if you compare it to the price of the first one, which is $13, yeah, they're not great books, but I can't believe I have to, stop reading a book because it's that bad. So this might be the worst FNAF book. And in the title of this thumbnail it says, FNAF fans deserve better. We do deserve better. We don't deserve this crap. We deserve a better written story, better books. We deserve better things. Not because we're entitled to it, because this is basically just slop at this point. So that's my basic review of the FNAF 2 novel. I'm sorry it's negative. I try to be positive with this book, but with the FNAF 2 movie being bad, worse than the first one, but then comes to story as well, I'm sorry guys, this is just a pass. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.